Hello everybody, today we're doing a video for GTA Car Kits, and today we're going to be showing you how to install our premium InDash phone holder in this Ford F150. There's two models of the metal brackets for this vehicle. There's one that fits all Ford F150s, and there's one that is only navigation specific, like in this vehicle, and we're going to show you today both and how to install both of them. We're going to start with what tools you need. You're going to need a 7mm socket with this little extension. You're going to need an 8mm socket. You're going to need a Phillips screwdriver, a panel removal tool. You're going to need a magnet, and also as an option you're going to need a cutting pliers, and we're going to show you everything once we're going to start the installation. So the first thing we're going to do is take our panel removal tool, and we're going to remove this panel that covers the speaker. To remove this cover, it's only held on clips, so we're going to take our panel removal tool and kind of get underneath here. Piece is only held on clips. So once you get the front clips, you have to wiggle this piece around and get it out. So it's looks like this. Over here you're gonna see that there's the actual speaker, which you're not gonna touch, and then a little bit further there's two openings. That's where we're gonna undo these bolts, and they're both 7mm, so we're gonna do that right now. So once you undo the bolts, it's like we mentioned before, to use a magnet, so you can pull these out as they're kind of far, just like that. So once you remove the two bolts, now we're gonna lift this panel, and we're gonna use our panel removal tool to unclip it. So there's 3 clips right here, and we're not gonna do anything to the speaker. We're just gonna move it to the side, and now you see here there's another 2 bolts, and they're again the 7mm like we used over there. So we're just gonna go ahead and remove these 2. So now once we remove these 2 bolts on top, this panel around the radio is ready to come out. So we're just gonna use our fingers and kind of pull it. And once you have the top, we're gonna do the bottom, just like that, and we're gonna move it to the side. So once you remove this panel over here, you're gonna see this is the 2 bolts that we're gonna remove. So the 2 lower bolts on the side of the screen. So if you don't have a screen, you're still gonna have the same 2 bolts. So we're gonna go ahead and remove these. So when you're taking out these bolts, it's good to use the magnet. Same thing we did at the top, in order not to lose them, because if they drop down below the radio, it's gonna be very hard to get them out. So use a magnet whenever you're taking these 2 out. So once you remove the 2 bolts, now you can mount your metal bracket. And like we mentioned in the beginning of the video, there's 2 options. One is they're gonna fit all the Ford F150s, and one that is only for navigation models. So this is the bracket for the one that fits all these F150s. So it mounts closer to the vent, just like that. Now we're gonna go ahead and put in the 2 bolts that we removed earlier. So when you're putting this metal bracket on, it's also helpful with the magnet. So I'm gonna point it towards the hole, and we're gonna give it a little twist so it catches on the thread. And now we're gonna use our same socket as before in order to tighten it. So this way, again, you're not gonna drop the bolts down below the radio. So the metal bracket that is fitting for all the Ford F150s, over here, when you're putting this panel back, you can choose not to do any modifications to the panel. As you can see, everything fits, but because of the metal bracket, it has a little slighter, bigger gap on the right side than on the left side. If you want to correct this, you're able to remove this panel, and as I mentioned earlier, these pliers, the cutting pliers, if you just remove a little edge from this panel, and it's very thin plastic, so you're able to just snap it off all the way down from the top here to the bottom, right here, and it has to be about 3 millimeters thick. So then when you put this panel back, there's going to be less of a gap between the panel, but we don't mind this gap and it doesn't bother us, so we're not going to modify this panel. And if in case you do modify this panel, even if you put this panel back, you're not going to see anything, even if you're not using the holder. So it's not like you're ruining the outside look because it's hidden behind, but it's just I have to mention it as it's part of the instructions. So if your vehicle has a navigation system like this one, you're gonna use you can choose to use a different bracket. It mounts the same as the bracket for all the models of F-150, just on a different side. So as you can see, once you put the panel back, it is not closer to the vent, it is closer to the driver. So at this point, we're gonna take the second part of the metal bracket, and this is the mounting plate for the phone holder. So over here at the back, there's two 8mm nuts that go on top of these little bolts, and you have to fit them to the hole. So there's 4 holes, and you're able to choose kind of your angle, so you can angle it a little bit down or up. It's up to you. There's many things you can do, but we're gonna mount it like this. So we're gonna just put these nuts on top, and we're gonna use our 8mm socket, which we mentioned in the beginning of the video, to tighten this. And do not over tighten it, you just need to tighten it a little bit more than by hand. So once you install the metal bracket, now we're going to install our plastic swivel that goes on top of the bracket. As you can see, there's a lot of holes that you can line up with. You can make it a little closer to yourself, a little bit more down. We're going to put it towards the top, and we're going to put it horizontally. And in the package, you're going to get 4 little bolts and nuts, which we're going to put through. For that, you're going to need your Phillips screwdriver and that same 7mm socket, which we're going to use at the back to tighten them. So now that the bolts are in, we're going to slightly tighten them. So we're going to use our Phillips screwdriver and tighten them. Do not over tighten them. There's no point. There's no reason to. So now at this point, we're going to take our phone holder and we're going to slide it on top and lock it in just like that. And over here at the top, this is your adjustment. So if you loosen it, you're able to flip this holder like that to have horizontally. As you can see now, this is the setup for navigation model. You can choose whichever one you like more, either the navigation setup or the general setup for closer to the vent. Now we're gonna take our phone. So the first time you're gonna take it, it's not gonna fit. So there's this button to release the 2 arms, just like that. So we're gonna put in our phone and slightly tighten it, and that's it. After that, you don't have to do any more adjustments. Every time you take out the phone, you just tilt it sideways, and when you're putting it in, you just put it in sideways also. And these feet are made to move out a little bit in order for you not to adjust it anymore if you're using the same phone. So at this point, once you mounted your phone, you're gonna put in the 2 bolts on top of the radio screen panel. Then you're gonna put this panel in with the speaker. So the first edge is gonna be this edge that you put in, and click it inside, but we're not gonna do it because we still have the 2 bolts to put. And then you're gonna install the 2 bolts over here and mount the cover for the speaker, and the installation will be done. So again, this was a video for GTA Car Kits in a Ford F-150, and today we installed our InDash premium phone holder. I hope you liked the video, and we'll see you next time.